Welcome here. It is a Wednesday night. I got my guy Primo here with me. We are missing Ziggy tonight. He is a little under the weather, but appreciate everybody jumping in here. This is Sit Down Marks. It's time to talk a little wrestling. How about you guys say hello to my guy here tonight with me? Everybody welcome Primo Silver Fox.
What's up, everybody? We missed you from last week. Let's do this again. Let's go.
Yeah, man, let's have some fun here. So just kick it off here. Sit Down Marks, man. We like to talk about any and all wrestling. We cover a little bit of everything from professional to all professional wrestling, and everything from WWE, AEW, all the way down to the indies. We kind of talk about everything that's kind of going on. So I am your heel host. I am the Dirty Bird. Appreciate you guys hopping in here and watching my channel here. Like I said, that's my guy Primo Silver Fox down there with me. We're going to two-man this show tonight.
What's up, everybody?
Missing our guy Ziggy, so he will be back here soon. So first of all, I want to thank our sponsors. Check out the hat there, Coastland Apparel. Primo's got one on too there. www.coastlandapparel.com. You see the ad there on the screen. So they got some nice threads. I just got this one in a while back. American flag, Coastland Apparel there. So appreciate those guys supporting the stream. We appreciate Rowdy for supporting the stream. I got some chiseled ice here tonight. What you got over there?
I got me some sour green apple. This stuff is so good.
It is good, man. I've seen a lot of people posting about that lately. It's kind of like the sneaky flavor that a lot of people like. So cheers to that. Cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
Hope y'all are enjoying your Rowdy. Hope y'all are enjoying your Wednesday. Let's get this thing rolling. Hello, everybody. Appreciate you guys hopping in here. So let's get started, man. Welcome to the show today, episode 2. We're going to, like I said, talk about everything wrestling, run down the card here. So we're going to get started because we got a lot to talk about and only two of us to talk about it. So, so here we go, Primo. Start us off here with NXT from last Wednesday.
Last week, not tonight, but last week. Yep. We're going to hit on some key storylines here. Let's do Finn Balor, Karrion Kross first. Finn Balor comes out at the beginning of the show, talks about he's beat them all. You know, you hear that all the time in wrestling. I beat them all. But then there's one guy he hadn't beat. It's Karrion Kross. So Karrion Kross comes out with Scarlett.
He's tough.
You know, all beefy looking. Comes out anyway.
Looking like a real heel, man.
Oh, yeah.
Looking like a real heel.
Scarlett says she sees it. She sees them draped in gold, you know. She does this premonition type situation. And tag team champs come out, get suckered into a defending their titles against these two bad dudes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So on paper, you know, you would think obviously these guys are going to get the new belts. You're thinking about what Scarlett said. Long story short, they have the match at the later on in the night. Karrion Kross ends up causing Oney Lorcan to defeat Finn Balor. And then he beats down Balor after the match. So that didn't go as planned.
No, it didn't go as planned. Kind of like your typical setup there for, seems like in wrestling that happens a lot. Mm-hmm. When two guys are starting a feud, somebody will come out and put them in a tag team match together. You know, you guys got to work together tonight. But, so that's kind of like what was there. But I'm looking forward to this match, man. You know, they got they're going to run that off at TakeOver coming up. Soon.
Yeah. Over Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, Stand and Deliver. Yeah, I'm all in on that, man. I love Karrion Kross. Finn has been sweet, man.
He's awesome.
Coming back to NXT, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, people say that him, I had somebody text me the other day, and they're like, what happened? Why is Finn down in NXT? But he chose to do this, He feels, that's his brand, really. I mean, he's the king down there. And there's amazing talent. So, anyway, moving on, we had a big night for Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly.
Baby!
Yeah. Boom! So
this is gonna be a good blow off right here, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So he comes out. He's talking about Kyle O'Reilly just signed his own death warrant, and then Regal comes out, says Kyle O'Reilly wasn't even medically cleared last week. He shouldn't even been in the building. In fact, tonight he's banned from the building. Adam Cole says, "You know what? Then if he can't come to me, I'll go find him." Fast forward to later on in the night, you see these two surrounded by police in the street, yelling at each other. Kyle O'Reilly's in the car.
The cops are involved.
Yeah, cops are involved. So Regal says next week, which would be tonight, he has a solution that both of these guys will have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say the last big thing we'll talk about old NXT is the debut of LA Knight. LA Knight. Yes, sir.
Man, I love that, man. He looked good. Guys,
he did look great.
He's a total package to me, man.
He defeated Austin Gray. In the middle of that match, though, he got Bronson Reed. It reminded me of whenever they used to do that to Jericho with the light-up jacket. Bronson Reed came out with LA Knight's jacket and just ripped it to shreds right there on stage.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Which was a little premature because they didn't kind of make it up like, because, I mean, he was popping his jacket and stuff a lot, but it didn't make it like a prized possession yet. But
exactly. You could just tell, his whole character, that's, how like The Rock, The Rock used to say, these are $500 sunglasses.
Right. Yeah. And maybe he did say something like that, because, right off the bat, they come out, he's talking, he's like, let me talk to you, which, is something he's always said, across the line. Maybe he did say something about the jacket along the way. I didn't catch it. I was probably popping still because he was, I'm going to be a big fan of his, man. Like, either way, whichever way they go, whether they face him or heal him, and right now it looks like they're going to heal him, which he's a better heel.
Sure. Yeah, he is a better heel.
Yeah.
But that's basically NXT in a nutshell.
Yeah, and also, too, I want to say I love Regal as general manager. I hope he's a general manager there forever. I just love how
he's been general manager on every brand, so he's got it down.
He's the manly man.
Yeah.
All right, Primo, thanks for covering NXT there, so that'll be exciting tonight. All right, so normally this is Ziggy's spot here where he will cover AEW, so I'm going to cover this for you. So right off the bat, we get Cody. This was last week's, by the way. We get Cody and Pentagon kind of starting up their feud with each other. Cody ends up getting the win with the roll-up. It was kind of a start of a feud. Pentagon starts beating up Cody. The Nightmare family makes the save, and then it was just kind of the start of the feud. Arn was even involved there for a second. So, but that kind of kicked off the show. Then next up, they're kind of featuring Jade Cargill, this kind of new prospect. I've never seen her before. I haven't seen her on the Indies. She may have been on there. Have you?
No, but I was going to say she is built, man. She looks like she could beat somebody up.
Yeah, she looks the package, man. So this was just kind of spotlight match for her. She beat Danny Jordan. It's kind of a little spotlight match for her, and they kind of show her a little bit later, sitting there watching matches. So, and then the next thing was my favorite part of the night. So we got a new faction in wrestling. Primo.
Yes. The Pinnacle. That's I think that it was needed for AEW. Inner Circle was dominant over there for a long time, since AEW's inception, really. So to have the Pinnacle come along and really be a threat to them, it looks good. Also, I like that they got Tully, they got FTR,
Yeah,
Wardlow and Sean Spears, the chairman.
Chairman.
So that's a solid, and MJF too. So
watch Sean, man. He's gonna kind of be like the Arn Anderson, man. Watch, he's gonna be like, the enforcer.
Enforcer,
yeah. He's gonna be the grit,
I still see him, and I still like 10.
10. Yeah, I know, right? But I'm glad, man. He's because he was kind of featured there in the beginning when he came over to AEW, but now, and then they tried this finding him a tag team partner with Tully. That didn't work out, well, I mean, it did, but, not real. But, I think he's going to fare really well in this role. So, but yeah, MJF comes out. He talks about how he lured Jericho. He played his games for a year, to get to where he is. So anyway, so he comes out, and this is the new stable: Wardlow, FTR, Shawn Spears, Tully Blanchard, MJF. They are called the Pinnacle. So there's your new faction in AEW. It's going to be a big faction in wrestling. They're probably going to strap gold across all these guys at some point. So this will be fun.
I think that they are a solid faction. I think they're stacked on the talent. Mm-hmm. However, and it was a solid promo by MJF, but I don't really, as we heard in my top 5 last week, Jericho's one of my favorites of all time. So yeah. I don't think that MJF will quite reach that level yet, but
But as a dirty heel, he has to say that he is.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. You mean, if you don't believe you're the best, then what are you doing there?
Right.
So
next up was Jurassic Express and Bear Country taking on Matt Hardy, Private Party, and Butcher and the Blade. Kind of Matt Hardy's his little stable, so to speak. Looks like they're going, Big Money Matt. And it looks like in tonight kind of kind of prolong that story of Matt is going to try to pump these guys up, and he's going to steal the pin in victories at the end. That's what he did. He was begging to come in there at the end of the match and stole and come in and took the pin over Private Party. So I think that might be kind of what they're going with that. So, but not a whole lot happening there. Moving on, Mox and Eddie are talking about the Good Brothers, setting up for, later on the night or a bigger feud, coming in. So, but right after that, Christian Cage comes out. He's talking about going after Omega, planting the seeds for the feud. What do you think about Christian and Omega down the road, Primo?
I think that they will make an awesome story in the ring. Christian's psychology and Omega's storytelling. It's just gonna, we're gonna be immersed in their matches. I think they're gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
and I think
we will be too. I hope they don't blow it off too early.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. I hope it's a slow burn type deal.
Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. So that's just getting started. So next up, we had Mox and Eddie versus the Good Brothers. John Moxley, Eddie Kingston versus the Good Brothers. The Good Brothers beat up Eddie. Then Mox comes out to kind of save the fight, and they brawl. Ends up being a match. Anyway, towards the end, Mox rolls up Carl Anderson for the victory. Ticks off the Good Brothers. They attack Moxley. Omega comes out, and then they all kind of attack Mox and Eddie, and they're really wanting to lay into them, And then so it almost makes it seem like they're trying to injure Eddie and John, with the chairs.
Really put them out,
Yeah, really put them out for a while. So here's where the storyline comes in. The Young Bucks come out.
I like this.
Yeah, me too. Kind of like, oh, what are you doing? This ain't us, blah, blah, kind of deal. And you're sitting there and you're watching, and you're like, is this where they're going to turn around and super kick them? Is this where our main heel is going to happen? Or
I was watching Matt, and I'm just like, even when they went over, back over on the other side of the ropes, and they're just kind of standing there, looking at him, you're being ridiculous type. Right. I still thought Matt was going to give us a smirk and then come back in, But no, that that's legit. I kind of like what they're doing with that.
Yep, definitely. So they come up to the middle of the ring. Everybody's putting up Too Sweet. Everybody's up there but the Young Bucks, and they're kind of leaning in and coming out. I don't know. So anyway, waiting to see what they do. And then the Bucks said no. And they take off, and then shortly after that, Moxley jumps back in the ring with a chair, clears everybody out, And then that's the end of that segment. So, yeah, some really good storylines there. You know, it's like a reunion, but not really a reunion. So, you know, the Good Brothers is helping that. Yeah, definitely with the Elite backstory lines there. So, rounding out the rest of the show, right after that, Phoenix, Angelico, a good match. Phoenix won with a crucifix bomb. Then they go backstage, which is a little weird. It's the only reason why I'm really kind of talking about this. But Miro, Rusev, for some of them ain't familiar with Miro yet. He's kind of talking about he's done with Orange Cassidy. Kip Sabian comes in the back and he's like, you know, I'm not done yet, you know, and Miro's like, well, you know, I won't stand in your way. I got my own kind of destiny. So it almost seems like maybe he's going to be going for, you know, something on down the line, but kind of left it open. So what do you think, man? You think like a TNT title run or something?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a mid-card title run. I think he's going to basically he's telling Kip that he doesn't want to be tied down there. He's basically what he did with them. He's saying, you know, it's going nowhere with him. So he wants to kind of move on from that. He said he'll help him out this last time, and he wants to do his own thing, basically.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. So, and then we get to the main event of the night, and man, how sweet was this one, man? All you got to say right now is Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, man. What thought comes to mind, Primo?
It was awesome. That's all I can say. I mean, I watched that whole thing, and I was just like, the whole time, like that was crazy. First of all, I was telling my wife, you know, we think about it, what, 10, 15? Now you just never see women's wrestling matches like that, and so it made it interesting in that aspect. Also, it just was cool. They let them go at it like that. So, you know.
Right. Yeah, they did, man. I'm talking chair shots, thumbtacks, ladders, blood, just beating the crap out of each other. You know, just awesome match, man. They really went for it, really went at it. I was one of the more interesting women's matches I've watched, especially not pay-per-view, you know, in a while. You know what I mean? Like, it always brings me back to Lita and Trish. The first time they main evented on Monday night, man. But this was just so good. You know,
I think
further storyline.
Yeah, further the story. Exactly. I think that the rivalry, it's one of those, they could be one of those rivalries that they could kind of be an on again, off again rivalry where it goes on for now. They hit a high point, and then they go separately, but they could always meet back up for their epic matches. You know what I mean? Yeah,
definitely could. And I thought about too, right before these girls came out. I thought main event. Are they putting the belt on Britt? You know, I thought, you know, is it time? I mean, she's a great heel. You know, they're doing the NWA partnership a little bit with her, you know, so I almost thought that, but maybe on down the line, now I see why they didn't do it, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But anyway, Thunder Rosa won with the Thunder Driver, pinned her on the outside, phenomenal match, like just.
It was one of the best matches I've seen in a while, like in recent time.
Yeah, really good, man. And last thing was they kind of set up, Darby said, early in the show, he's going to be a fighting champion, so he's going to defend it against anybody in the Dark Order, and they ended up coming up with John Silver, so that will actually happen tonight. Darby is going to start defending that. So anything else on AEW, Primo?
No, but I will say I'm glad you brought that up about Darby, because I like how he said, do you know how many times I defended this title? And then I forget what the number was. It was a couple, like 2 or 3 or 4. Yeah, and he was like, and they were like, oh, that's good. He's like, no, that's pathetic.
Yeah. The crowd was like, woo. He was like, no.
Yeah. So I like that he wants to be the fighting champ, because you think about that, and, you know, the TNT. And
he's getting the Sting rub right now, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there's AEW, Primo. Why don't you roll us right into SmackDown from last Friday?
Last Friday, SmackDown. That's our go-home show for wrestling. We started off, we had Sasha defending her women's championship against Nia Jax. Ended up retaining the belt, and that was a precursor to them facing off for the Women's Tag Championship at Fastlane. It was also announced that Hulk Hogan will be hosting WrestleMania with alongside Titus O'Neil. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with that, whether it's Hogan one night and Titus the other night.
Get them all in.
I said, I got to get it, yeah. Or whether they're going to split the nights or going to do them both together. But it was announced that Hogan's going to be hosting WrestleMania.
Awesome. I like it.
You know, SmackDown, they had Seth Rollins out there talking about, you know, because after he done put Cesaro out, so Shinsuke is his current target now, since Shinsuke, Cesaro's former partner, and stuck his nose in the business. So they started having words. You know, Shinsuke told him to shut up. Gave him the "oh, come on." So I love that when he does that. And exactly. And he ended up putting Seth Rollins down.
My favorite thing he does is when he puts his foot up against their neck.
And it does it.
He goes,
yeah. I like that too. Like every time he comes on TV, because I know my wife would have an opinion about him. I was like, right. Just take it in. Like right. Like you're gonna think this is hilarious, but this dude is just amazing.
Artist.
So to prepare for the Universal Championship at Fastlane, Daniel Bryan came out, hit a promo saying that he is going to make Roman Reigns tap out. Of course, Roman Reigns went a little over the top with his response, saying he'd rather die than tap out. And I thought it was funny because Daniel Bryan called him out. He's like, "You'd rather die than okay, but you know, I'm still going to make you tap out." This was hilarious to me. They had the Sami Zayn King Corbin match, but before they had the match, they had I don't know, it was like a promo little trailer for the match, and the whole thing was the announcer saying the match that nobody cares about or asked for. And it was Sami Zayn and King Corbin. You know, they had their match, and Sami lost. And his whole time, KO's out there because they're friends, and he wants to prove to KO the conspiracy thing.
Yep.
At the end, KO doesn't agree with him. He tells him, "No, that you lost. That was legit, dude. You lost." And ends up catching a haluva kick to the face by Sami. Yeah. So that might go somewhere. I mean, they've had a feud already in WWE, but so
yeah. Oh yeah, they've had quite a few. They had one in NXT. They had one on the Indies for years. El Generico and Kevin Steen. So you know, and best friends, Canadians. I mean, they're super they're wrestling at Mania. It's going to be. It's always awesome. This is probably one of my favorite feuds of the last. Probably 15 years.
Oh yeah,
these guys they just go at it. It's always great. They're personal. They know each other. Every match is just awesome. So I'm pumped for this. Adding that to a Mania card, of 2 nights it's going to be sweet, man. Just sweet as the deal. I love it.
Yeah, because that's definitely a good match to put on the card. The Big E Apollo storyline was furthered. They were doing their backstage promos.
Apollo!
Yeah. And they basically, Big E got fed up with it. So, you know what? I'm tired of talking. I'm going to come find you. They end up brawling. Big E gets the golf cart.
He's like,
no, exactly.
Not the golf cart.
So, anyway, that's how they ended up brawling backstage before their matchup at Fastlane. Yeah. To close out the match, we had the in-ring SmackDown return of the Rated R superstar himself, Edge.
On this day.
That's right. And he defeated Jey Uso, became the special enforcer for the match between DB and Reigns. After the match to close out the show, Reigns speared everyone. So
handing out spears, standing tall. Right. Go home show heading into Fastlane. So yeah, so that set everything up pretty nicely for Fastlane.
To go into Fastlane. Yeah.
So Fastlane was Sunday. and pay-per-views, all three of us normally are going to talk about them. So just us two tonight. So Primo is just going to kind of go over, the kind of matches, or the kind of the featured matches of Fastlane here. So the pay-per-views haven't been, or they've been about 2.5 hours lately versus kind of 4 what they used to be. But they'll probably go back to being longer once there's like live crowds and stuff. So, but anyway, Fastlane, last pay-per-view before Mania. Primo, get us started here.
So we had I wasn't going to mention this match, but I feel like it kind of needs to be mentioned. It was on the pre-show. Was Riddle defeating Mustafa Ali for the U.S. title. But I mean, that wasn't on the main card. But Riddle, I like what he's doing, and I love. First of all, I love when he's in the backstage with the scooter.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's got like a name for it now. He's like, he's playing the like annoying, kid in the neighborhood kind of deal,
Mm-hmm. But anyway, on the main card, start off with Braun Strowman in the Shane McMahon match that never happened.
Right. Yeah, we talked about this. We thought that they would probably end up in a Mania match, so it kind of looks like it's where they're going to end up doing it. So Shane had somebody replace him.
He had Elias come out and replace him.
Who wants to walk
with Elias?
And Jackson Riker, his roadie, I guess, is with him.
Yeah. We all know how this goes down. Braun destroys these guys. He's already furious. He can't fight Shane in the first place. I'm pretty sure that. Okay, it was. I'm getting my nights mixed up, but when they fought the second time on Raw, there was a train sound when he was running around the ring.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that was past. Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on from that, we had the Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss match, where he's supposed to kick her out of his life. Right.
This was some crazy on-screen stuff going on here.
It was. I like that. I really, I was wondering how they were going to do it. When they dropped the lights from the ceiling, I thought that was pretty cool. And
and they can pull off that stuff with nobody there, man. So
exactly,
that's why they can pull these tricks, man. I like it too with the fire and
And also, Randy's his acting there was really helping. So he really sold all that. And of course, at the end of that match, we had the return of the disfigured Fiend.
Yeah, I mean, he comes back with this kind of disfigured, burnt-looking, mangled mask. It looks like something that Slipknot would wear on stage, kind of feel. Sure. Yeah. So it's one of those kind. But so I guess this is the character evolving, into something else, and
I was wondering about that because the burned hands kind of look like gloves, like rubber gloves over his arms. I don't know if they are or not. I haven't had a close enough look at them, but it almost looks like he isn't as mobile as he should be to be able to wrestle a match. But no, it was cool. He returned. We also, another match we had on Fastlane was Drew McIntyre and Sheamus in a beatdown on both their parts. They had quite the physical matchup.
Yeah, they did. Another banger, man. They kind of laid into each other.
Yeah, we knew how that was going to go with. With Drew going over since he's going to WrestleMania.
Right.
But they definitely didn't. He didn't squash Sheamus by no means. He threw him through the LED screens.
Yeah. They almost had me thinking there for a minute that are they going to add Sheamus to triple threat with this one? So you got me thinking all this triple threat stuff, man. We'll talk about this.
Yeah.
you put it in my brain now. So
I will say I originally thought that this one was going to be 1-2, but I was like, there's no way they'll do both of them for both the titles. Women's Tag Team Championship match, Shayna and Nia retain.
Yep.
Sasha and Bianca can't get along.
Right, yeah. Knew that fallout was coming. They're trying to protect each other. Don't ruin my main event. Don't ruin my main event.
Exactly. What was she saying? She was saying, rookie, what do you know, rookie?
Yeah. That match won't be last. I think it'll be right before Roman Edge.
Think so? You think maybe they'll because that's a big one, They might headline maybe night one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? You're right. I didn't even think about that, man. I was still thinking of only one night. So yeah, definitely. Yeah. Women Saturday night, Sunday. But yeah, I kind of forgot about that. Yeah, totally. That could be the headliner for Saturday night. Yeah. Good call. Absolutely.
All right. In our main event. Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan with special enforcer Edge on the outside of the ring. How'd you think about that?
I a little bit predictable, in a way, just because when they have a special enforcer or a referee that's a wrestler, involved, so, but I mean, I like where it's going. It's still a little open-ended there. I know you're thinking, three-way with Daniel for the three-way dance there for the title at Mania, which is absolutely could, be the way it goes. But, I mean, I liked it. They went back and forth, told some stories. Edge was concerned, then he wasn't concerned, and then it was, he was trying to decide whether to jump in or not. So, I mean, good roll of emotions through the whole match, and Roman's still champ is, the way we kind of thought it would shake out. So what about you?
I think that they did right by DB. He didn't just roll over and get pinned. They put on a heck of a match.
Yeah.
They were war plumb out,
Yeah.
He has a case for the triple threat now since he did make Roman tap.
Right.
And so that's the whole thing. He has he has an excuse. So he made Roman tap and Edge interfered. So in Edge interfering, you did it. I wouldn't call it a heel turn, but I'd call it, him laying claim, because he said, this is mine. This is my,
right.
Because, it's his moment. He's not trying to let anybody else jump in on his moment.
Yeah.
And he just wants it so badly. That's that passion.
Right.
So.
Yep.
But that was the end of Fastlane. It wasn't too bad of a pay-per-view. It was basically a build-up, further storylines for WrestleMania.
Yeah, and usually what it does, I don't think there's usually any kind of too many titles that get changed on this pay-per-view. It's the one stuck right in between Rumble and Mania. I actually went to this for whatever reason, man. They used to kind of always have this Fastlane pay-per-view over in Cleveland a lot. So I went to that one time out there. So yeah, just not much happens, but I like all the forward of the storyline. So, I think it did, what it needed to do. So, pretty good pay-per-view overall. So, but thanks everybody for hopping in here, checking out episode 2 of Sit Down Marks. We're usually 3 deep here, but tonight we're missing Ziggy. He's a little under weather, but he will be back next week. He got me, Dirty Bird, my guy over down there. There he is. Primo. The whole show is running over this with me tonight, so appreciate it. You guys go check out www.coastlandapparel.com. Use promo code BirdTV for 15% off. They got some really cool shirts, hats. Primo's wearing one. He's got a new one. So go check that out. Go support those guys, man. They support us, and we appreciate it. Also, Rowdy Energy. Tonight I'm having a little chiseled ice and Primo's got some sour green apple. So we're just enjoying this fresh beverage here from Rowdy. Let's go check out my Twitter page there. We got a link on there. You can go grab yourself some. Chiseled Ice back in stock, and they're doing free shipping on 12 packs right now. So go good, check it out. So, yeah, it is, man. It's good stuff, and it's very one of the most all natural energy drinks out there. It's keto.
That's my favorite thing right there. Yeah, because that's
yeah, same here. Keto diet approved, man. So if you're low on carbs, this is a good drink for you, man. This stuff is it's good, man. I haven't tried one yet. I don't like so. But anyway, we're still pushing through our recaps here, so we're going to burn through Raw here real quick. So Primo, Raw from this past Monday. What's up?
Yeah, Pete? Raw. We had that was our basically follow up from Fastlane. So we had Lashley challenged Sheamus at the opening of the show. Sheamus isn't going to turn down any fights. They proceed to have another solid match. Hurt Business gets involved in Lashley's business, the almighty Bobby Lashley's business.
Yeah. And they're really talking up this image thing with Bobby right now. Yeah.
So moving on, Peyton Royce, she had that Raw talk couple weeks ago where she went off saying that she needs her time to shine, put her in there with Asuka. Well, Asuka's back now, and Peyton Royce got her match. It was a good match. Asuka defeated her. Immediately after that, Rhea Ripley comes out, makes her Raw debut. Yep.
Yeah.
She says, she says Charlotte's out with COVID, and that Asuka doesn't have anybody to challenge her, and that she challenges Asuka. Asuka accepts their match for WrestleMania.
I like it.
We got.
Let me say something here real quick, Primo, about that. To me, now I'm going to ask you this question. All right, to me, does it almost kind of seem like they are kind of setting up a little bit of last year's Mania for this one too? Because I felt like going into Mania last year, I thought this is just it's just my Mark kid guessing, thinking. I thought Rhea was going to go over Charlotte, and then have a run with the belt, and then COVID hit, and they decided to kind of tread water, stay the same. I think Drew's winning the belt, back at Mania. I think they're going to give him that real world pop, satisfaction, fans,
I was really
the real elation of the whole title.
Yeah. I was, when he won, that's the only thing I was like, oh, he got it, but crickets,
Yeah, me too, man. I felt bad because honestly, me and Zig seen him wrestle in Chicago, a couple months ago on an indie card, and he was already, making his way up through. So that, I was really happy to see him get there. But if they go that way, if they go that route, it'd be cool to see him get like a real world pop there.
Speaking of Drew, he ended up getting set up with a handicap match against Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. And the stipulation was if he defeats them, they will be banned from ringside at WrestleMania. Well, guess what? Drew McIntyre beat him. And, who would have thought, right? So he beats the most recently former tag team champions. Mm-hmm. And they're now banned from ringside. We had Braun Strowman. This is what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, he came out and defeated Elias again. I remember last week I was talking about how he's going to end up having to put Shane in a cage. And basically, at the end of the match, Braun's doing his victory. Shane comes up and swings that crutch at him. And back in it reminded me of Kane back in the day with Kane, how when he used to get hit, he would just stand there.
Right, yeah.
And
not even flinch.
Exactly. And Braun just kind of turns around like, did you just really do that? And the injured Shane McMahon proceeds to haul butt up that ramp, running just fine.
Yeah.
Braun calls him out. says, "You know what? We're putting it into this." Yeah, and yeah.
Jumping around like normal.
Put an end to this, and we're gonna have a match at WrestleMania. Shane accepts and says, "You know what? You're on, and I'll go. I'll take on any match that you want," which leads me to think it's going to be a cage match or something along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a cage match might be a little too predictable. He's did that with Undertaker. I've seen that match live. He's did that with a few other guys just jumping off and stuff. So, maybe Hell in a Cell, like
Hell
something a little more. Yeah. Something more. I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like their beef is big enough for a Hell in a Cell. Might be, not yet anyway. So we got a couple.
Put them in like a parking lot brawl.
Yeah.
You haven't seen one of those in a while.
Match.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. So we close out the night. Randy Orton says that earlier in the night he's going to come out and call out the Fiend. Since he returned at Fastlane, he comes out before he could get any words out. He talks about how he put him down, and before he could actually call him out, Alexa Bliss comes out. He says, "Be careful what you wish for." Does the old I forget what those are called. The toy machine that she had. It comes out. Yeah. Then the Fiend shows up. We could see that Randy Orton had gasoline in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
And he started pouring it on the Fiend. He was cautious. It reminded me of when I think it was Survivor Series. I don't even remember the year, but it was when Kane buried Undertaker.
Yep.
And then he came back as Undertaker. Came back as classic Undertaker.
Yeah.
And Kane was just like freaking out. Because he are you real type deal. That's kind of how Randy Orton was acting with the Fiend. Kind of like real hesitant. Didn't want to really. He was jumpy. He was kind of pouring the gas, and then next thing you know, Sister Abigail and they ended up putting Randy Orton on the mat. I will say, too, real quick, that was the end of Raw. But one more thing about that. The match at Fastlane, when Alexa Bliss beat Randy Orton, the way she pinned him, I heard or I read, I don't even know if this is true or not, but I read online that Randy Orton's wife's not too happy about that.
Oh, really? Oh, she got her hand in a conspicuous place, I guess.
Well, she straddled him for the pin.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
Yeah.
Oh well.
It is what it is. It's the business.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Raw. That's wrapped up.
Okay. Yeah. Good weekend there of WWE between Wednesday to Friday. I thought they did really well there. So, any comments on that?
No, not really. I will say one thing I didn't mention. I didn't write it down here. Was Matt? Riddle, the original Bro. We're talking about him doing the backstage segments with the scooter. He was doing it with Sheamus in the back. And Sheamus just wasn't in the mood.
Yeah. I can't wait on him to snap it or throw it down the hallway or something,
I could tell as soon as Sheamus picked it up and was like, oh, yeah, this is the, acting like he cared that something he was about to flip on him. But so that's going to. That could turn into something. Maybe we talked about this previously about how Sheamus, maybe this could turn into Sheamus getting a consolation singles title.
Yeah, with doing 2 nights this year, a lot of people are going to give him the card. You know what I mean? So that'll be fun to see. I could see a Sheamus Riddle match. On Saturday night, for U.S. title or something like that. Yeah, it'd be a good little solid feud there. So, they're probably going to play up the Riddle's dumb and Sheamus is like you're an idiot,
Yeah, super serious.
So, yeah. All right, so that'll wrap up WWE heading into tonight. So let's talk about Impact Wrestling. It happened last night on Access TV, 8/7 Central. Just run through some notes here. It starts off. It shows Kenny Omega, Don Callis coming in the building. Kind of jumping around like they're the kings. Walking around with their chest stuck out a little bit. So shows that and heads into the first match. Deonna Purrazzo, the Virtuosa, who is the current Impact Women's Champion, beats Jazz. WWE Hall of Famer Jazz. She is on the roster now, and she has no hair now. She's bald like I am. So
fellow Texan.
Yeah, all Jazz is okay.
Yeah,
very cool. Next up, they're really emphasizing this TJP Ace Austin feud. This is a rematch for the X Division title coming into tonight. Ace wins after Madman Fulton, also known as Sawyer Fulton in NXT, interferes. Josh Alexander comes out and saves TJP after Fulton and Austin was beating up on him. So setting up a little tag, there. So, and then the next thing, a little interesting is Matt Cardona, a.k.a. Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
We saw him. He left WWE. We saw him on AEW briefly. Yeah, so woo. I was at Dallas. I was in Dallas when he won the IC title at Mania.
That's awesome. On the ladder?
On the ladder, yep. I was one of the millions going, woo!
Yeah.
It was great. But anyway, so he was on AEW for a little bit, and then with this branding, everybody working together, he is on Impact. So they kept promoting an interview with Zack Cardona. So sat down with him. He made it known that he is there to stay. He's going to be trying to make some moves there. They've been toying with this little feud between him and Brian Myers. Of
course. Yeah.
Yep. So Myers is saying, "Oh, you followed me over here. This is my deal."
The brothers.
Yeah. So so just kind of setting that up.
I mean, that's kind of hard to do, though. They have a podcast together and everything.
Yeah, well, it's just, I guess they still, just suspend your belief.
Kayfabe, yeah.
Kayfabe, yeah. So they're going to have a blow off at some point. So next thing in the card, about middleways through the show, Omega and Callis, they come out to the ring. They're gas bagging themselves. Oh, we're the greatest. We're the kings. We're going to be taking over. We're going to make history. Omega's looking there. He's got his shirt flat open, shades, curly hair, looking,
cool.
Yeah, just looking cool, man. Just looking, looking like the Terminator. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, they said, that they're going to make history over and over and over, and then so they leave the ring, and then they talk to Rich Swann backstage. He's responding to Omega and, about them saying that, Omega, that Swann doesn't have a chance, blah, blah, blah. They got a pay-per-view coming up shortly where they're going to wrestle each other. I think it's called Rebellion. So that's coming up soon, like in a couple of weeks. So basically that's the end of that. And then they switched gears to a storyline that kind of popped out of nowhere. Cowboy James Storm, he allegedly is sitting on 999 matches under Impact. So they are promoting his 1,000th match coming up soon. So, he's out there talking, doing his gimmick.
Sorry.
Yeah, about your luck.
Yep.
Not quite that much, but, so about having his match, and then so they do this little promo. Eric Young, he's got what's the name of his little stable? Something Violence, something like that. Anyway, so he's got like a little stable going on with Cody Deaner. They got like a new guy there too. I can't remember his name, but anyway, so Eric Young kind of starts talking, not directly to Cowboy. It's kind of like in a camera interview. So anyway, they talk it up. He tells James that he's wrestled him X amount of time, 90 something of those matches are against him. So he's like, let's do it one more time. So James Storm says, okay, cool. Next week, my 1000th match, Eric Young, sorry about your damn luck.
That's right.
Yep. So, and then, so they talk about that. We head into the main event, which they've been advertising as Carl Anderson versus Eddie Edwards. Kind of a blow off from last week, so anyway, Gallows gets involved, hits Eddie with a chair, and so it kind of like ends in a big melee or whatever. And then so at the end, the Good Brothers are standing in the ring. Finn Juice, David Finlay, Juice Robinson pop up on the screen. They talk about how they've been fancying their titles all over Japan, and they're the new champs, blah blah blah, and just kind of rubbing it in on the Good Brothers. And then the show goes off, with Good Brothers, mad, kind of deal or whatever. So, another, just kind of forwarding storylines. They do a lot of theatrical stuff on Impact. Like they have this like little Johnny Swingers casino where they do, it's like a little reality show on the side or whatever. So not a whole lot happens. So, just kind of basically, just pushing up the Omega stuff with Swan.
Is that's not for any titles, is it?
What's that? Oh, well, it says championship match. Both titles on the line. So we know Swan ain't winning both of them.
I was about to say,
Omega might win. You know what I mean? They're gonna make Swan look really good, but I'm expecting some sort of schmoz.
They'll shine him up.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So after that, man, let's talk about the indies here, and we'll go through the rest of the card. So tonight here, let me show you a graphic here of Paradigm Pro Wrestling. The UWFI series starts tonight. We here at Dirty Bird 33 TV have sponsored a match between Matthew Justice and Dominic Guarini. It is the main event tonight. It starts at 10 Eastern, 9 Central on IWTV. Here's the graphic for that match. So that's going to be a banger of a match, man. I'm excited to watch that later on tonight. So go check those guys out. Paradigm Pro Wrestling out of Louisville. They're a big indie promotion right there in the Louisville area, and they run shows around other places too. So just kind of run over the indies real quick. A lot of shows are still picking back up. Everybody's starting to have fans again. PWX, kind of one of the promotions back close to my hometown in Charlotte, North Carolina. They just ran a show last week, and I think they sold it out, man. It looks like it was a full-on wrestling indie show, man. So looks like they had at least probably 600-700 people there, maybe. So
wow, cool.
Yeah, they have a Rise of a Champion main event pay-per-view every year, where it always seems like the next guy in line. So anyway, tonight was or that night was TJ Boss winning the title. Just kind of give you some history on PWX. I was there when Cedric Alexander won his first title, heavyweight title, PWX. Caleb Conley, John Skyler's wrestled there. Sammy Callahan. Shoot, man, I could go on and on. Tons of wrestlers there. So anyway, just looking back, looks like everybody's kind of getting back up and running again. So let's talk about my home promotion, mine and Ziggy. He's not here tonight again. He's sick, but he'll be back next week. AAW is based out of Chicago. They just released I think it was about 11 shows going for the next couple months, and so looking forward to that. Their first show on April 3rd is actually going to be live on Twitch on April the 3rd. It's twitch.tv/AAW Pro, so you can watch that show for free. Looks like this will be the first one, kind of kick off their storylines. Mance Warner is still the champion. Hakeem Zayn is still the Heritage champion. You might know him as Rohit Raju in Impact Wrestling. So look forward to AEW getting up and running. We're going to hit some shows soon. Primo's, I'm going to get him up to Chicago here. We're going to come check out AEW at some point. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, just excited, man, that this wrestling's getting cranked back up. I'm excited for the summer. I'm excited for there's this big tournament in Tennessee, usually around end of July, 1st of August, the Scenic City Invitational. I love going to that tournament, man, weekend tournament, so I hope everything's coming back here soon. So just looking forward to going back to some live wrestling, man, that's for sure. So there's your indie and Impact rundown. That's all the current wrestling here. So next up, man, we're going to pick Primo's brain. All right, so this is a little segment I like to run here with Primo because he's from a different era of wrestling than, say, like me and Ziggy. You know, he's kind of started watching more of the current. You know, I'm dated back to to the 80s and on. Ziggy's more like the 90s and on. You know, so I just always like to throw out some questions at Primo here to see where his kind of fandom started and what he did as a kid and stuff like that watching wrestling. So I'm going to pop a question out here to him every night. So tonight's question, Primo, what was the first wrestling shirt you ever had? Where'd you get it? How'd you get it? Why'd you get it?
So,
that you can remember.
No, I was thinking because I've had quite a few shirts actually. I think the first shirt that I had was the, and actually I was a little older, but it was at the time, it was the original DX shirt, and
the green egg?
Yeah,
on the back.
So I ended up getting that, and it was, I think it had some writing in the front too. The D-Generation X, yeah. I got that. I was probably 14, 15 years old because they're still selling it. I ended up catching it somewhere, and I had to have it because that was part of what seeing them was part of what got me into wrestling.
Yeah, New Age Outlaws, Pop.
Yeah. So that was my whole thing. Part of how I even got into it was they were one of the first things on wrestling I ever saw. Yeah, man. They had it all. Yeah, that was the first shirt, man. Awesome. I'll say that one was my first shirt. Probably my favorite shirt that I ever had was the. There was two shirts. I didn't have this one. My brother-in-law Dustin had this one. It was the Best in the World CM Punk shirt. And then I had the other one, the I'm a Paul Heyman guy shirt.
Nice. Yeah. I love
it. We love those.
Nice. Awesome. All right. Good answer. DX, man. Did you ever get thrown out of school? They make you turn it around or anything at school?
No, not that I can remember, actually.
Let's get ready to...
Yeah, I mean, we have family pictures of my little brother ruining the whole thing because he's sitting there with the crotch chop in the family picture. You got my whole family, grandparents, cousins. Yeah. We're all smiling because we're supposed to be. And my little brother is doing crotch chops. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Good answer, brother. Good answer. All right, man. Next week we'll be back with another question for Primo to see where he was. So now is my favorite part of the show here. We're going to talk about our drop kick discussion of the week. Here we go. Dropkick discussion of the week, sponsored by Coastland Apparel. Use promo code BIRDTV for 15% off. Nice hat here. You can go grab this one. Primo just got his hat in about a week ago, man. He's looking sharp in that thing, man. It's a solid looking hat.
I like this one. Yeah, it's pretty slick.
I like the way they feel too, man. A lot of summer designs. Just got this one in. Go check out those guys, man. They're supporting us, man. So go support them. Use that promo code. That'll pay for shipping in a little more. So go check that out. So, All right, here we go. Today's topic: top 5 favorite tag teams. So me and Primo will bounce back and forth here, and then when we're done, I'm gonna read Ziggy's top 5. And so here each week we just like to do a little segment here where we just talk about our favorite things in wrestling. So I think you started last time, man. So I'll start off here this week with number 5 here, Primo. I'll let you.
Let's hear it. Number 5.
This one's going to catch you right off the bat. So, all right. So we're doing top 5 favorite tag teams, not who we think's the best, or this is our favorite.
Personal opinion.
Yeah. Who made us pop? Who made us laugh? Who made us cry? Who did we get excited when they won? Who did we get sad when they lost? Boom. Anyway. So, all right. So my number 5, being from North Carolina, my number 5 is the Hardy Boys. Watching Jeff and Matt, they were kind of about my same age, man. Like, the music, man, I still think that's like I still get goosebumps. I almost kind of got them just now. I'm thinking about it, man. Like when they made the return to WrestleMania, like I'm feeling it right now, man. Like the hair standing up, look, man, it's great. Yeah. It was just amazing. Phenomenal, and so number 5, man. I mean, all you gotta say is Hardy Boys. The ladder matches, the TLCs. What they did when they went to Impact, they came back. Jeff has been 3-time world champ. They put North Carolina on the map. I mean, it already was, but solidified it. So, always love watching Hardy Boy matches. I'll never get tired of watching those guys wrestle. So it'd be a sad day when those guys have to retire. But my number 5 is Hardy Boys. So, Primo, who you got? Number 5.
Solid pick.
Yeah, it is.
Number 5 for me. I tried to make my list. I grew up a WWF, WWE kid. Mm-hmm. Tried to make my list not all pro WWE. And which is good. My number 5 is actually a TNA tag team. We got them. Beer! Money! Yes,
Love
sir.
It. Love
You're
it.
talking about James Storm just a minute ago. Yeah. Him and Bobby Roode. I actually really enjoyed watching them.
Great tag team.
Great tag team. They really were. They're both good workers in the ring. It's just a solid tag team, really.
They kind of helped carry that brand for a while, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, between them and what was the other? America's Most Wanted.
That was also with James Storm. Yeah,
it was also with James Storm. Yeah. So, Chris. Can't remember his name, but solid pick at number 5, man. I didn't think you would go there, but I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so tell you what I'll do here. I'll read Ziggy's here as we go.
What's he got?
All right, let me pull this up here real fast.
I have a feeling we'll overlap.
Okay. All right. Ziggy's pick at number 5 is the Shield. Ooh. He had, I guess the combination of Moxley and Rollins.
Tag team.
So Ziggy takes the Shield number 5. A solid pick. They've been hot. They were hot for a while. They broke those guys up and put them back together a bunch of times. So,
I really like the Shield. One of these days when we do our top 5 factions, they'll probably make mine, to be honest.
Probably. Yeah. They had good feuds with the New Day. Probably
Wyatt
my favorite.
Family.
Probably the Wyatt family. Yeah,
that was amazing.
Yeah, the Wyatt Knights debut was one of my favorite. I have that clip saved on my YouTube channel. That's how much I love it. I watch it every now and again, man. Just goosebumps, man. It's awesome. So
I remember that Raw where they, Shield gets up on this side. Wyatt family gets up on this side, and they just the stare down, and then they pan out to the crowd, and everybody's just going nuts.
Nuts, man. Yeah. And that feud was good if you had never even watched NXT before, or if you had watched it, you kind of blow up. So that man was great. So all right, moving on. My number 4 is huge WWE tag team. They were the champs for a long time. But just solid, man. Solid tag team, man. The Hart Foundation, Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil. They were what tag teams were supposed to be. Bret was the finesse, Anvil was the brute. He was the muscle. They had power, they had technicality. They won the belts a ton of times. I loved watching them in the British Bulldogs. New Age Outlaws later on. You know what I mean? So just a solid tag team, man. Like probably in the talks of one of the best ever in WWE for sure. So Heart Foundation, man. I come in at number 4.
You can't go wrong with that pick. Number 4 for me. Me growing up, me and my older brother used to pretend we were these guys. I will never be that tall. I'm only 5'8". But my number 4 is the Brothers of Destruction.
Nice.
Kane and Undertaker.
Nice. Yeah. Big bad daddies right there, boy.
They didn't tag all the time, but it was one of those things like,
they were always connected.
Yeah, they were always connected, and when they did tag, you knew they were going to tear it down, and it was just awesome to see.
Really was, man. Really was. Against each other or together, they played out that Kane was the younger brother of Undertaker to start. All the ways they were entwined together, all the way down to today. Undertaker lets Kane know that he's going into the Hall of Fame, man. How
Congratulations to Kane, man. I think that's awesome. Absolutely. I'm so happy for him.
Totally deserves it. I love listening to Bruce Pritchard's podcast because Kane was his brainchild, so he takes all the credit for that, man. It's awesome.
I'm so like a nerd for this kind of stuff. When I made the drive from Texas to Virginia, I was listening to a few audiobooks. And the one audiobook that I was listening to when I drove through Knox County, Tennessee, was Mayor Kane.
Nice.
So I was connected that way. I thought it was pretty cool, and I did it on purpose, and it was a good book. So
yeah, that's great, man. That's awesome. Congratulations to Kane, Glenn Jacobs, super cool dude, doing great things in the community in Tennessee. Like the Undertaker said, there's no Hall of Fame without Kane, man. Just involved in so many things in wrestling. I mean, he tombstone Pete Rose. You know what I mean? Like, like how many times have we seen that clip, man? Like, it's great, man. It's great. He did it a couple times, I think. So,
multiple times.
Yep. All right, my number 3. This is where it started getting a little choppy for me to decide because I had to decide between 3 tag teams that really influenced me. Influenced my early wrestling love and even still today. So, but at number 3, I went with 2 of the 4 horsemen, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. NWA, WCW, WWF, maybe at the champs. Solid workhorses, great heels. The Enforcer. Tully's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. We talked about him last week. They knew how to get it done, man. They made you hate them. They got the work done. They made the baby faces look good. They were, 9 times out of 10 in NWA, when there was a big storyline going on, they were involved. And, just super solid. Great tag team, man. Hated them when I was a kid. Love them now. I just still think that they're kind of underappreciated. So, my number 3 was Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard.
Awesome. What do we have for Ziggy's number 4?
Oh yeah, you're right. I didn't read his number 4. Ziggy's number 4 was the Dudley Boys.
Yeah.
So 3D baby. I mean
solid pick. They would go on any list.
Yeah, don't they still own the for most tag team titles
against all the promotions?
Yeah, like everywhere in the world. So Devon. They made putting people through a table cool. A lot of people
get the tables.
Yeah. You remember. Remember when Budweiser had all these commercials doing wah?
Yeah.
So they would do that with the headbutt, in the midsection. You know what I mean? That popular. They split up.
I really liked whenever Bubba used to do the sit down power bomb from the top rope, and when he did it, he'd do the stare.
Yeah, which one of those do you remember the most? Which one of those do you remember?
Either Mae Young or Dixie Carter.
It's May all day for me, man.
Yeah,
That's
Mae
the only
Young.
one I remember. I remember Dixie. I
Yeah.
remember Dixie, but May, God, I'm like, oh my God, he just killed this woman. Yeah, he was like,
exactly. It was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah,
they probably had one of the coolest theme. The second iteration of their theme song was awesome. The Drop the Bombshells. I love that.
They go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was great, man. Yeah. So Dudley Boys for Ziggy there at number 4. So my third was Arn Tully. Primo number 3.
All right, let me take a drink for this.
All right, get you a little drink of that rowdy.
A little rowdy energy.
A little rowdy.
Hype me up for this tag team here.
All right.
Let's see. My number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, D-Generation X proudly brings to you your WWF Tag Team Champions of the World! The Road Dogg Jesse James, the Bad A Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws!
Yeah, love it, man, love it. Did you not love saying that? Like
all the time. I mean, I still got it memorized, obviously. I was doing it the other day. I watched a YouTube video of them doing it just because I started thinking about this, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta watch a YouTube video of it now." And then my wife was, when they came out, I did it with Road Dogg, and my wife was just like, "What's wrong with you?"
Oh, that's great, man. That's good stuff, man. Awesome. Yeah, New Age Outlaws, man, one of the best tag teams of the 2000s, like Hall of Famers. Billy Gunn's still around. Still looks like he could go, like for an hour. Great shape. Road Dogg, he's used to always crack me up when he would get his head shaking and get his knees knocked together. He's from the legendary Armstrong family. Brad, Scott, Bullet Bob was his dad. Like just wrestling bloodline right there, man. He's what is it? The story he wrote the song for Jeff Jarrett. Spin my
when he was the roadie. Yeah,
when he was a roadie. Yeah. So that's fun, man. Yeah, great. You can't go wrong there with number 3. Good, solid choice. All right, here we go. Let's get to these top 2 here. This is where I think we're really going to stray away here. So I'll go first here. My number 2, as a kid and even as an older kid, when these guys kind of came back, the biggest babyface tag team that I can ever remember, for the wrestling that I watched, Ricky and Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express. Man, they made women go crazy. They made old ladies go crazy. They made kids go crazy. Just ultimate baby faces. Ricky got to run singles by himself. The first team I ever seen do a double drop kick. It was amazing. I seen these guys on an indie show about a year ago, and they were doing meet and greets, and I was still popping by them, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Rick and Robert. Every show that I went to, every show that I went to growing up, man, these guys were, I seen them wrestle the Midnight Express with Cornette thousands of times. The Horsemen, such great storylines with these guys, man. And I was just so happy when they got in the Hall of Fame. But Rock and Roll Express, man, just wow, man, just a great babyface tag team. Glad to see that they're still around. Primo, had they been around now, they would have made tons of millions of dollars, man. They just,
for sure.
Yeah, just unbelievable. So that's my number 2, man. Who you got at 2, Primo?
So number 2 for me. So I started watching wrestling in 97, 98, and I started out with WWF. At the time, I think my brother watched more WCW. I didn't watch a whole lot at the time. I have now with all the archives and stuff. And but anyway, one of my first tapes that I got was 1994 or 95 Bash at the Beach. And it had the Nasty Boys facing off against my number 2, Harlem Heat.
Nice.
Booker T and Stevie Ray. That's my favorite WCW tag team. Booker T is probably one of my favorite WCW talents in the 90s.
Yeah. Was Sherry with him on that card? On that?
Yes. Yeah.
She was. Yeah. Man, when she added like so much to them, man. Like what a great manager she was. But man, Harlem Heat, man, I love it, man.
Yeah,
Hall of Famers now.
Crazy, yeah. Booker T, the two-time,
yeah.
He, that's funny that match, man. Going back and looking at that Bash at the Beach, you had Dustin Rhodes and he was in this. They were pulling a trailer on the road, and he was in the back of this trailer in this wrestling match. You had Harlem Heat versus Nasty Boys, and they were getting all kinds of gross and stuff.
Skags and those dudes were they were nasty for sure, man. Yeah, you never knew what you're gonna see in a match with those guys, man.
Harlem Heat. I really enjoyed them growing up, and I wish I would have watched them more during their time.
Yeah. All right, so that's number 2. Coming in at number 2 for Ziggy, he's got Edge and Christian at number 2. So another solid pick, one of the greater tag teams. We're talking about these guys a lot right now, not together. You know what I mean? But they're still in the mainstream,
still relevant,
man, still relevant. Christian over in AEW, Edge main event of Mania. So
they just went out the bubble for me. They were my honorable mention.
Yeah. Yeah, very nice, man. I mean, the 5-second pose, the gimmicks and stuff that they did, man. They got over, man.
Kazoos.
The kazoos. They got over for sure. So awesome pick there at number 2. So, all right, well, here at number 1, let's start off with Ziggy's number 1 because I think his number 1 is going to be different than the rest of us. So Ziggy's number 1, he started at 5 and come up. He had the Shield at 5. Dudley Boys at 4, Hart Foundation at 3, Edge and Christian at 2. His number 1, and I knew this would be his number 1. His favorite tag team of all time is the British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith and the Dynamite Kid. Solid 80s, 90s tag team. Held the belts. Great feuds with the Hart Foundation.
I was about to say that goes against one of your favorites there.
Yeah. So they were big, man. With all those guys kind of representing Canada. So just awesome wrestling, great technical wrestling. Ziggy, he loved British Bulldogs, man. He still pops for them whenever we see some matches and stuff. So there's Ziggy's top 5. Starting my top 5, Hardy Boys at 5, Hart Foundation at 4, Arn and Tully at 2, Rock and Roll Express at Arn and Tully at 3, Rock and Roll Express at 2. So my very number 1 favorite tag team of all time, what can I say about these guys? Painted face, they were huge, popular, mean, nasty. The Road Warriors, man.
Yeah.
They would, that music would hit, they would hit the ring, clear the ring, wipe everybody out, throw their hands in the air, leave. Before Austin ever did it. When somebody gets a big pop to these days, it's still to this day it's still called the Road Warrior pop. They were huge in Japan, they were huge in NWA, WCW. They went to WWF. They were the LOD, Legion of Doom. Made a run there for a while. Hawk was dead for a long time. Animal passed not long ago. So, just what those guys gave to the sport is just amazing, man. The first time, I was just in awe. These guys are just big, huge, jacked up, and, face paint. They had it all, man. They had it all. They were popular. Everybody loved them. So, easy for me right there. Road Warriors.
Solid choice. Yeah. And one of the most copied finishers.
Yeah, the Doomsday Device.
Yeah.
Yep.
I probably saw it.
It's dangerous.
I saw it recently.
Yeah, well, I talked about it last week. Fin Juice used it. Yeah, to win the titles. Yeah. Maybe trying to bring it back. It's a dangerous move, man. So
right.
All right, Primo.
The way they went backwards. Anyway, so my top 5. Start number 5, make our way forward. Number 5, I had Beer Money.
Yep.
Number 4, Brothers of Destruction. Number 3, New Age Outlaws. If you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you. Number 2, Harlem Heat. And that you hadn't said them yet. You know who they are.
Yeah.
Dirty's number 5, my number 1. They're the Hardy Boys. That's right. I mean, what can I say? Team Extreme, the Hardy Boys.
North Carolina, baby.
Jeff Hardy's already my favorite wrestler of all time. You know, I started off liking them as a tag team. They're, like you mentioned, their theme song.
Yeah.
It's great, man. Even, Team Extreme with Lita. The whole thing. It was just so cool. Every time I saw them wrestle, and then, of course, we mentioned in all 3 of our favorites, Edge and Christian, Dudley Boys, those matches, the TLC matches, they changed the business. They did.
They did. I've even that's kind of like one of the things I thought about earlier that I'll say here on air. We've talked about doing some watch-alongs. That's like one of the first things that comes up to me is we should watch the the 3 TLC matches.
SummerSlam, one at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And then one on Raw.
Yeah, so those would be fun to go back and watch. So that'll wrap up our Dropkick discussion of the week. We got our top 5 favorite tag teams. So Ziggy held British Bulldogs. I took the Road Warriors. Primo is sticking with the Hardys.
That's right.
All right, guys. What's next? Let's talk about what pay-per-views are coming up. Looking on my side, April 10th, looks like maybe Hardcore Justice, this kind of extreme card that Tommy Dreamer's kind of putting together on Impact. So that looks like that's coming up. Rebellion, which would be the Omega Swan matchup. That's got to be coming up soon. I'm not sure when that is. I think it's within a couple weeks. That's like the little mesh between those guys. Might be Mania weekend. I'm not sure. I don't think so, though. So we got Mania coming up. Anything else? AEW got anything coming up in the near future that I see?
Not that I know of. No, not really.
Okay. All right, Primo. What are you excited about right now for Mania, man? 2 nights coming up of Mania, man. Right now, what do you?
As of this moment, I'd say. Right now, I think it would probably be the match with Edge and Roman. If not, and if not, the fact that it might be a triple threat with Daniel Bryan. That one, I'm pretty excited about. I think it'll be a great match. They're gonna burn the house down there. There's so far, I'll be honest, there's not a whole lot that gets me too excited.
Well, that's why I'm like to ask this question. I'm gonna ask it every week till we get to Mania and see,
As of right now, it's the main event for the Universal title. Okay. I'd like to be more excited about Lashley and McIntyre. But
a little more beef to that story would be nice.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're going to work on it, but it was kind of weird. They announced that match on Twitter the other night, like during Raw, I think, or one of the matches or one of the shows. So yeah, that was a little weird.
You know what was weird was after the Fiend put down Randy Orton on Raw, immediately without any kind of verbal announcement, they posted a graphic saying Randy Orton versus the Fiend at WrestleMania. Yeah, just kind of like put it up there like, oh yeah, these guys are mad at each other. Yep, match. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For me, right now, I'm excited looking outside the box. I'm excited for fans.
Oh yeah.
I've not been a fan of Pandemic Wrestling. It took me a while to get into it. It kind of turned me off for a little while. It's just
same.
hard.
Honestly, same. Yeah.
It's the pop, man. I like fans there. I like the organic, the claps after the moves.
I'll say
this is awesome.
Before the Thunderdome, it was hard to watch.
Yeah.
And it's not the wrestler's fault, It's,
right. They're doing what they can.
Yeah, it's just a whole thing, the whole production with the fans and everything.
And I'm thankful. Don't get me wrong. I'm thankful that they were still able to have wrestling. Thank God we're able to have something to watch. But not a fan of it. But I'm excited about fans. I'm excited about 2 nights of Mania because that gets a lot of all these wrestlers on the card. It lets them be able to blow off some storylines that they got going. I'm excited. We were just talking about it earlier. Probably the last thing I added this on just the other day. The KO Sammy. Their best matches have been, probably like on the biggest stages. So I think they will really probably go at it. So
I thought that it was the Kevin Owens versus Shane O'Mac a couple years ago, where at the time Sammy and Kevin were feuding then. Technically, but Sammy pulled Kevin off the table before Shane jumped off the cell.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm actually a big fan of Shane O'Mac too. And I was one of the kids. He used to come out doing the dance and doing the whole thing. Here comes the money.
Yeah.
I'd like to be excited to see him. I'm gonna be excited to watch him. I like watching him. Everything he does.
Yeah.
He's
built a reputation now. He's going to do something crazy, so you're watching.
He's going to do a coast to coast. He's going to jump off on the announce table. He's going to fall off something.
Yep. All right, moving on next. My wrestler spotlight. That's kind of each week I just kind of want to talk about somebody that's kind of making their ways through wrestling. But tonight I'm briefly going to talk about MJF. I've watched this guy. He on the Indies for quite a while. He's he's exactly what he is. You see now in AEW is everything he was on the Indies. He's not changed. He's gotten better. If anything, he has some very good one-liners. He knows how to insult the crowd. He knows how to be a heel. You hate him because he kind of has like that kind of richy white boy, punchable face. Yeah. Rich, been given everything. So he's got the gimmick down, and now with this whole thing of him and Jericho and him kind of coming into this role of leading, the Pinnacle faction, it's just a matter of time before he's going to be the champ. He's going to be a really good heel champ. So anyway, my appreciation for MJF is that, I love when there's really true heels in the business, and he is one of those guys. I feel like if me and Primo had beers with him at the bar next week, all night long, he would, if he came off the exact same person as he was on TV, it wouldn't shock me at all because that's just, the way he just comes off, you know what I mean? So just appreciation for him, man. Just, I love great heels. Heels make the business. Everybody loves the baby faces, and he's doing a really good job right now. So I'm interested to see where this goes, with the Pinnacle. And, I just hope they really keep that edge on him, just being a really, really gritty, insulting heel like he has been so far. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, my wife, like I said, I started taking her to indie shows with me a couple years ago. And, that was one of the first ones she liked was Eddie Kingston and MJF because, they were kind of those kind of heels, you know what I mean? So, it makes it interesting. So it just, he's doing a heck of a job, Primo, don't you think?
That's kind of cool that you say that about how he was this way before AEW. I was actually introduced to him through AEW. It's the first time I saw him. So it's good to know that he's maintained that same character, that same heel status, that same character, them same mic skills. I will say, now that we're talking about it, he does have that, back in the day, Chris Jericho would be like just make people's skin crawl with his promos.
Right.
And, MJF kind of has that same quality.
Yeah, he does. He can get under your skin, piss you off, and and when he wins, it kind of makes you mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. You're like, dang it.
Yeah. So he just does a great job, man, and I'm excited to see where he goes from here. So, all right, next up, man, Ziggy ain't here, but we are going to find out how Ziggy did booking Fastlane. So let's take a look. All right, so currently Ziggy is 0-0. This is his. We're just going to keep a running tally here and make sure he stays above the line here. So we'll just keep a tally here. Primo's going to run off the matches, see what Ziggy called, and we'll call it a win or a loss.
Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. That is Ziggy says Shane wins and adds fuel to WrestleMania match.
So we had a swerve there. So
yeah, it was a swerve. It's hard to tell on that one.
So we can't award him the win on that one. That's a swerve.
I'm going to save this next one till the end because this was the one where he was the most right.
Okay.
But this next one, Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. He said Drew McIntyre is going over. No question there. So that's a win for him.
Okay.
IC Championship match. He said Big E retains, and Big E did retain for sure.
Okay, it's 2-1.
WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. He said champs retain, and they did.
Okay,
that's 3-1. Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. He says Roman Reigns will squash DB easily on the road to WrestleMania. Now, I don't think that's what happened.
It wasn't a squash. No.
It wasn't a squash. Now, he did beat Daniel Bryan, but they shined up Daniel Bryan real good in that match, and I feel like it's going to turn into a triple threat.
Yeah. I mean, he booked the win, but he didn't.
He booked the win. So I don't know if you give him half points for that, but
I'll say 3-2. He's got to get.
So this is the one. He called it to a T here.
Okay.
The Bliss and Randy Orton.
All right.
He said no physical contact.
Yeah.
And Fiend return. And that's exactly what happened there. Yeah, that was right on the money.
So 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
4-2. That's a pretty good start.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's a winning record.
If you're watching, brother, that's pretty good, man. Going into the next one. So 4-2. So I'll write that down. We'll keep a tally on Ziggy. So he's 4-2 for Fastlane. So good job there, Ziggy. Hope you're feeling better, buddy. Well, you can bask in your glory next week, man.
Bask in my glory.
Speaking of which, where's Keith Lee been? What's going on? Where's he at?
That's a good question. I just watched his 24.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
To be honest,
he'll show up probably. So let's take a little toast here, man. Rowdy.
Toast to Rowdy. Yes, sir.
Guys. Fueling up here for this last part of the show here tonight. We'll wrap it up so you can get to watching some wrestling. Next up is we're going to talk about some thoughts of some things that happened. First of all, let's talk about Andrade, Primo. What about Andrade getting released? What do you think?
So initially he had posted on his Twitter about the release, and then eventually WWE went public and wished him the best. Yep. I think that if that's, if a wrestler wants the release and they're not getting used to the best of their ability in their mind, then, why not? So they can move on and kind of do what they want to do.
Yeah, there's no places to go for them now.
And also, I'm not sure. I've seen conflicting reports about whether there was a non-compete or not. Usually there is, but
usually there is. Usually there's 90 days. At the least.
I mean, you think he'll end up back in? You think he'll be in AAA or?
I don't know. I don't really know what he's wanting to do. I don't know, man. Selfishly, I hope he gets picked up by some other wrestling company that's on TV. selfishly, I hope he hits the indies. I'd love to see him on some indie shows. I feel like the downfall for him was, losing Zelina. She got released. They kind of broke them, up there a little bit. They tried that little stable there with Zelina. So, he probably just not getting used, just wants to go somewhere else. I mean, Duke can freaking wrestle his tail off. He just his mic skills is where he's where he's having the problem. So I don't know, man. 90 days is a while. You got AEW, Ring of Honor, Impact.
Him and Zelina could
they could show up together.
They could show up together at the Indies. Yeah. Speaking of showing up together, I know we're talking about Andrade here. I did see that Big Cass showed up with Melina somewhere.
Big Cass did?
Yeah.
Enzo Big Cass? Oh, I haven't heard that. Okay.
Big Cass showed up with Melina. So
on a show.
Yeah.
I did hear something about Cass and Enzo somewhere at a show or something the other day, but I didn't like they showed up like as a couple, or they showed up as like
I didn't. I just saw the headline and it looked more like a manager type role.
Okay. All right, we'll see what that happens, man. I hope those guys wrap it back, reel it back in and are able to come back. So, I mean, whether you love them or hate them, they were interesting. They were fun. They were another one, Primo. That was another one that was intertwined in that Shield Wyatt, Enzo Cast, man.
The Skywalker smack talker.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
On the mic, Enzo's pretty good on the mic.
Yeah. SAWFT.
So
yeah. All right. So there's Andre, and then our two newest Hall of Fame inductees. One today with Kane, and then Eric Bischoff a couple days ago. Bischoff. Monday Night Wars. He led WCW. He come up with the NWO. So this guy deserves to be in, man.
Maybe just a little bit deserves to be in there.
Yeah.
He's big influence on wrestling history, like big time. Across WCW days, NWO, coming in with the new general manager of Raw.
Yep.
That whole thing, in his time in WWE, love him or hate him, he has a spot in wrestling history. So
yeah. Yep, definitely does, man. Then, one half of the Brothers of Destruction.
That's right. Kane.
Love seeing him get in there. We were just talking about it earlier. Well-deserved. Mayor of Knox County. He was in a ton of huge matches. He was the champ for a while. He had a great run with Stone Cold. He was what was it? Team Hell No with DB.
Team Hell No with Daniel Bryan. Yep.
Yeah.
The first blood match with Stone Cold. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep. The feud with Stone Cold. I mean, taking off the mask, the brother of Undertaker. He had Paul Bearer. The whole history with Undertaker. I mean, tons and tons of stuff that went on in WWE that he was involved in. Married. Was it Kane that married? Was it Stephanie or Lita? Lita.
He married Lita.
Yeah. So that whole storyline, just man, and then Pete Rose.
Tombstone Pete Rose. I'm pretty sure he tombstone Linda McMahon.
Yeah.
Everybody. I mean, it's if he also has. I think I actually just heard this today that. I was watching Randy Orton on the Broken Skull Sessions. And he was saying that he's coming up on Kane's record of most televised matches. So, and Kane's had that record for a while.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So
it's a good little factoid there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So there's Bischoff and Kane. Kind of the little tidbits of info here heading into the Hall of Fame. Those two guys in, and Andrade just got released. So. All right, Primo, starting to wrap it up here, man. What are you thumbs up about? What are you thumbs down about?
I am thumbs up right now about the women's division in AEW. That is solid, man. What they do over there in AEW women's division, they fight. You know?
Yeah. It's bangers. It's brawls.
I would say AEW as a whole, their whole product right now. I when I watch it, I'm just, and I'm a WWE guy. I've always have been, but watching AEW, I'm just like, this is everything about it is entertaining to me right now.
Yeah. It's good, man. A lot of different intangibles.
And the Pinnacle. I like the Pinnacle. The whole thing with Pinnacle Inner Circle. I like that too.
Okay. Thumbs down?
Thumbs down. I would have to say that the Women's Tag Team Championship is just doesn't. I mean, I like that it exists, but Nia and Shayna just really don't do it for me. Their whole thing with I dislike it so much I can't remember the dude's name that's hopping around the ring with them right now. Reginald. Yeah. I just, that whole thing is just like, I see it and I'm just like, all right, Beth and Rick. So, and then it's not the, like I said, I like the women's division in AEW. It has nothing to do with that. I just don't feel like Nia and Shayna, I think them as a team weren't doing it for me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I am thumbs up on it being Mania season. I'm excited. I love these couple weeks leading up to Mania, everything that comes along with it. You know, Mania's 2 nights this year, so that'll be sweet. So pumped up about that. I'm still pumped up about what's going on with AEW, Impact, the relationship with New Japan, everybody. Pumped about that still. I'm thumbs down on Andrade getting released. I had a lot of hopes for him. I love to watch him in NXT. You know, he came on. He's a heck of a wrestler. I can't wait till him and Charlotte start making babies because that will be an awesome wrestling child.
A super athlete.
I mean, we're talking about Andrade and his lineage and Lucha Libre, and then mixed with Flair,
yeah.
Wow,
the genetics of Flair.
Yeah, unbelievable. So, all right, man. So that's most of the show for today. Here, talk about a few quick little things here on the way out. Tonight, here once again, let me show you this graphic. So that is coming on here shortly on Independent Wrestling Television, IWTV.live. Go check that out. That match we sponsored, that'll be coming on here at 9 o'clock Central. So here pretty soon, 10 Eastern time. So go check that out, guys. Paradigm Pro Wrestling. UFC this weekend, man. We got the big heavyweight match. Primo, we got Ngannou and Stipe, man. Who you taking?
So in that match, I'm going to take Stipe. Stipe all day long. I mean, Ngannou has knockout power, like unreal knockout power. Oh, yeah. But Stipe is just, he's all around awesome. His matches with Daniel Cormier were great. You know, he defended his belt several times. Like he's awesome. I take Stipe in that.
Yeah, he's faulting everybody right now. I'm going to go with Ngannou just because of the momentum. You know, this guy's hungry. Stipe won the first fight, so this would make a trilogy. If Ngannou
that's true.
Yeah. So, we could see this fight again for a third time. So, I want to see a good fight. If Ngannou blasts him out early, then, a lot of people are going to say, I told you so. But,
I think that if for Ngannou to win, he would have to take the early knockout or something.
Yeah.
Because if it goes the distance, I think Stipe has it hands down.
Yep. So we talked about earlier, Primo. Sean O'Malley's on this card. He's coming back. I forget who the undercard was right before that, but I heard today UFC headline too. Just kind of add Misha Tate. Misha Tate is she's coming back.
Really?
When it fought Ronda.
And
for
then
a while. Yeah. So
you said Tyrone Woodley's on there too, right?
There you go. That's it. Tyrone Woodley. He's on the co-main there. So appreciate everybody hopping in here. Had a good time. We missed Ziggy. He'll be back next week. Appreciate you guys all hopping in here. So that'll be episode 2. We'll be back next Wednesday for episode 3. We'll be covering everything current. We'll be coming up with whole new topics. So watch our social media for what's coming up next Wednesday. Go check out our sponsors here, coastlandapparel.com, right there on your screen. Use promo code BirdTV for 15% off. Go get yourself some rowdy like me and Primo has. Appreciate them keeping us hydrated and our energy up through the show here. So I'm excited, man.
I was gonna say I've been through the. I've been trying out different flavors here.
Yeah,
I got all of them here. Like I got peach, mango, cherry, limeade, sour apple. I went to Wawa the other day and found that they have them, so I'm just like trying them all.
Yeah, my store here in town where I live don't have them, but some of the stores right outside of town here have them. So I'm gonna be grabbing some more. I still got some cherry limeade, so I'm gonna grab some cotton candy and probably some of that sour apple too. So yeah, go over to Dirty Bird 33 on Twitter. There's a link for some rowdy. So grab you some rowdy there. So once again, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys being here. We had a blast, man. This is fun. Can't wait to do it again next week back here with Ziggy. We're going to ramp up everything coming up to WrestleMania. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to be doing some sticker giveaways here. We got some stickers for the show here, so we're doing some sticker giveaways for everybody that tunes in. So share the link if you love wrestling. This is the show for you. So tune in here with us every Wednesday. So for my guy down there, Primo, the other guy, Ziggy, not here, we will see you guys all next week. Appreciate you guys all tuning in, man.
See you next week.